Hi, I'm Plummy, and in this episode of the Nostalgia Trip, I'm gonna be finally getting back into continuing with my reactions to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2012 series. We are currently gonna be starting the second season, which according to you guys is going to be more interesting and more fun to watch for me, because as much as I guess don't really hate season 1, it's definitely nowhere near as interesting to me as the 2003 series was, and I want to like this version of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and there's definitely a lot to like about it. I think its comedies, for the most part, really good, but also at many times it undercuts a lot of its dramatic moments with the stupid jokes. My biggest problem with the 2012 series is that it doesn't let its dramatic moments grow and just be on their own. They have to shove a joke in every single dramatic moment. So I don't know whether that's gonna be better this season or not, but hopefully it is going to be better. And yeah, the episodes we're gonna be checking out in this video are going to be episode 1, the mutation situation, and episode 2, invasion of the Squirrelanoids. But before we get into the reaction, a few things to quickly talk about. If you don't care about anything other than the reaction, then skip to this moment in the video to get the reaction. And also know that you can get a full-length reaction, full-length version of this reaction over on my Patreon by subscribing at the specific tier that I've created for it. The link is in the description. But yeah, some of you who have already watched my reactions to the last season might remember that at the end of the season I said that I was going to be taking a little bit of a break from reacting to TMNT because I wanted to catch up with my reactions to Generator Rex and Fullmetal Alchemist, the 2003 series, because those are other cartoons that I started reacting to about at the same time that I did for TMNT 2012, but I kind of decided to do them one at a time instead of all at the same time, because that was making it harder for me to release cartoon reaction videos more consistently. But due to unforeseen circumstances, so to speak, during the summer I ended up going to work a job which kind of prevented me from really even doing any videos for the most part. Throughout the whole of July, I've been busy with that job, which is why I haven't really uploaded much in the last month or so-ish. And I only did, like, I think 4 episode reactions to Fullmetal Alchemist, so there's that. And I haven't even gotten into reacting to Generator Rex. But now I'm pretty much almost done with the work. I might have a couple more days to go to work, but it's not really clear. So there might be 1 week going forward where I'm not gonna be able to upload any reaction videos or any videos at all, but I'm pretty much starting to get back into normal schedule. And the reason why I actually decided to react to TMNT again instead of continuing with catching up with Fullmetal Alchemist and with Generator Rex is because I feel a little guilty about not sticking to my promise that I told you also at the end of that episode reaction to the finale. Because I said that even though I was not going to be doing TMNT reactions for a couple months, I would at least be doing TMNT related content, because I was planning on playing a game called TMNT Mutants in Manhattan. But I really didn't stick to that promise because, again, I was busy with the work and didn't have the time or the energy to sit down and do these kind of videos. So, as an apology to that, I've decided to start doing the TMNT reactions again. And also, this whole video is going to be part of some